Hey, welcome back to Authentically Yours, Patricia. Hello, I'm Patricia. If you are returning, thank you so much for finding my channel of some sort of value to you to return to. I really appreciate that. If you're new and you just stumbled upon this channel, thank you for stopping by. I encourage you to watch the whole thing. You know how it is. I do it too. Swipe, 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 whatever, right? So this channel is Authentically Yours, Patricia. My name is Patricia, and it's all about authenticity on social media, keeping it real, and documenting the things that many of us are going through and will continue to go through. And a lot of us struggle through, but we suffer silently because we want to show face, right? Especially on social media. So we're documenting things like my marital journey, married 15 years, going to be married 16 years, God willing, right, in March. Documenting my health journey, right? Suffered migraines all my life and gut issues, and I'm going to be putting a video very soon about that and that process and that journey, which is gut wrenching. Anyway, that was corny. Documenting financial journey, how I wasn't raised how to manage money very well, first generation American, and that's not why I don't have money habits, but I'm just saying that is the story. Didn't grow up with money. So learning how to manage money and get to a better place financially on the way to financial freedom, right? Documenting those things, documenting relational situations that are outside of marriage, documenting my bass guitar learning lessons, right? And all this, for anybody who's new, I'm 48. So I'm not 23 documenting these things like, oh, I have the world, the world ahead of me, and I'm going to just accomplish all of these things. And I'm saying that at 48. So this is for somebody rather, who is thinking it's over for me. I'm just going to just live through my kids or my niece and my nephew or whatever your story might be. I just want to encourage someone that it's not over. If you are still breathing, it is not over, and God still has a plan for you. But let me not get to preaching up in here. Let me get to what we're getting into. So we are on a marital series. We are crawling through, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna get through this series. It's some important stuff that was eye-opening for me as I realized these things for my marriage. And my hope and my goal is to help someone, save someone's life, save someone's future, something that could be eye-opening for you as well, so that we can make the adjustments that we need to make, right? Going forward, right? In our lives. Ooh, it was like some kind of thing in my eye, whatever. Anyway, so we are only on lesson number 6. We're only on lesson number 6. Trust me, we're going to get through. I'm going to try to do some bundles of some of these lessons going forward, but today's just one. And the first lesson, lesson 6 is we have to let people go to live out their own journey. I'm going to say it again. We have to let people go to live out their own journey, to walk out their own path, right? And I'm not talking about divorce right now. So we're not talking about that, right? This is just in your marital situation or any relationship, to be honest with you. We have to surrender people, let them go to walk out their own journey. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, backtrack. When my mom was sick, if you're following my channel, you know that my mom passed away. It'll be 3 years in April, but to me, it still feels like 5 minutes ago. It's still a shock. I'm still grieving. But if you're following, like I said, you know that she recently passed away. And while she was dying, I was believing for her to live, but she was actually dying. A woman, I was speaking to at my church, and I was just sharing with her how I was feeling about the whole thing and just sad and grieving and just different things that I was sharing with her. And that woman, she was like way older than me, like grandma age. I loved her. Solid woman in the Lord. And she turns to me and says, honey, your mom is on her journey. And that like put a dagger in my heart, and not in a bad way, in a good way, because I'd never really personalized that word before. Even though I've thrown that word around so many times, we all have, like so many other things we throw around. That's another series for another time, right? But journey is one of those words I would throw around, but never really personalize. So when she said that to me, that my mom is on her own journey, right? And there's just some things I can't stop, right? Even though we want to. So bringing that back now to my marriage, right? I knew this early on about my nature way before marriage that can tend to be more on the controlling side. I've definitely gotten better, but that is something that I have to work on, to be intentional about not being controlling about, people, situations, and circumstances. Because we all know that we can't control anything really, right? So, all that to say is that I found myself trying to control outcomes, things like that. And then, getting upset if my spouse wasn't responding a certain way, as if I can control any of these things, right? So the lesson is, having just releasing people. I had to release my husband and realize he's on his own path. He's on his own journey. And at the end of the day, he's going to have to account for how he related to me in our marriage. And guess what? So am I. And guess what? So are you if you're married, right? In any other relationship. At the end of the day, we're all going to have to account for our life to our creator, right? So when I had that realization, that wasn't too long ago, that was so freeing for me. It was freeing for me because I spent so many years in the marriage just being so frustrated, being so angry, and like I said, wanting to control outcomes and situations and control him if I could. Of course I couldn't, but trying to, right? And then when I realized that he's on his own path and he got to make his own decisions for his own life. I can't keep him to do anything that I would want him to do. He has to make that decision on his own, right? So when I had that realization, that was freeing for me. And I want to free not that I'm going to free you, but I want to help someone get to that place too, where you get free, because that was like a weight that was like lifted off of me when I was like, he has to account for this behavior. Right? Of course, when we feel like someone is doing an offense to us, we're like, yeah, you're going to account for that. But we don't ever think about our stuff, right? But in all seriousness, it's true. It's like he's going to have to account for that. Any mistreatings, any neglect, or anything that transpired in this marriage that was not of God, he will have to account for. And so will I. Now, I'm not saying this to say that I'm not addressing important issues that come up in our marriage and that you shouldn't either. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying, there's a freedom that comes in surrendering your spouse to the Lord, surrendering your partner to the Lord, your friend, whomever it is you're in relationship with, and saying, they're living out their own path, they're living out their own journey, and they're going to have to account for every action in the end. That's what I'm saying. And that's lesson number 6. And I hope that frees somebody up, just like it freed me up. It freed me up. I used to go to bed angry so many times. If I felt neglected, if I felt ignored in my marriage. And again, not that these things can't be addressed, but when I released him to the Lord, and knowing that he will have to account for these behaviors, y'all, I'm just going to bed now. I'm just going to sleep. I'm like, oh, you got to account for that, homie. Like, that's on you, And I was going to say more about that, but maybe we'll roll that into the next one. But anyway, I hope that's freeing for somebody. Alleviate some stress for somebody. But stay tuned for some more gems. We're going to keep this rolling. We're going to keep this going. I don't know. We'll probably get to year number 16 of marriage before we wrap this up. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you stayed till the end, I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned on this channel. We got some more good things coming up. All right. Talk to you soon on Authentically Yours. Bye.